You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday, November 6th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. A beautiful day here in the Quad Cities. Looking ahead to this weekend, I think the beautiful days are coming to an end. So enjoy today, enjoy tomorrow, and then fall and winter-ish weather, I think, coming our way here this weekend as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for that. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you have not, please do so. We appreciate that. Also, the chat is up and going, so if you want to drop in on the chat, it's been active as ever over the last couple weeks, so please do that as well. We love the feedback, good, bad, and different, all those kind of things. So hop in there and do that as well. We are live on X. X has been very, very good to us. Same thing there. Feedback always welcome, so please do that as well. We're also available on all your podcasting platforms. So Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, you name it, put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and you can check out the show. And I always tell people the beauty part is you don't have to watch the show. You can listen. You don't have to look at my ugly mug. So that's a beautiful thing. And also our viewers in Central Iowa, welcome. We appreciate you guys as well. Each and every weeknight, you guys check us out as well. So we thank you for that as well. Yesterday's show, a lot of fun. Pat Anger was here talking about this little football game between Iowa and Oregon coming up on Saturday. Tom Kakert broke down Iowa's opening game in men's basketball, and their win in the Ben McCullum era, tipping off at Carver Hawkeye. Mike Morrissey was here with Moline Football talking about the Maroons' second round matchup coming up this weekend. And then, of course, we had our weekly Nest Guest segment. I know a couple people have reached out, if you're watching this live, and said there's no link. The link is going to be up here in about 45 minutes. So we'll get that pushed out, get into the next Nest Guest contest. And thank you once again to the Hungry Hobo for sponsoring our Nest Guest contest this year. Also this week, Scott Docterman was on Monday, Kyle Huseman on Monday as well, John Marks as well. So a lot of good stuff in the last couple days. Go check that out if you have some time on YouTube, X, wherever you check out the show. Fun show lined up for today. We're going to get to our Cyclone segment. We usually do that on Wednesdays, a little behind this week. So we're going to chat with Jake Brend here in a matter of moments, try to figure out what's wrong with the football team, now losing 4 straight games, now 5-4 in the season. They go to TCU, so it doesn't get any easier this weekend. We'll talk about that. Rocco Beck's struggles, how they turn things around, all of that, plus some basketball, men's and women's, coming up with Jake Brend in a matter of moments. Also, last Friday, we were at Geneseo. We enjoyed our show out in Geneseo, Maple Leafs and Rochelle, and it was worth the price of admission on Friday night. Geneseo winning with a field goal as time expired. It also involved an onside kick and everything you could possibly imagine. So it was a great, great game. Geneseo standout, Kye Weinzierl, will join us later in hour number 1 as well, talking about Geneseo's victory. And then also looking ahead, they go to Macomb coming up this weekend in a big battle down there. See if the Maple Leafs can get their way to the quarterfinals. So Kye Weinzierl coming up in just a little bit. Also, we talk a lot of football, volleyball this time of year. We've talked some soccer, and we've almost slept a little bit on the Rock Island soccer team. The Rocks are heading to state for the first time in school history. They won the super sectional on Tuesday. One of their standouts, Jonas Cortez, will join us in hour number 2 to talk about Rock Island's awesome season so far, and then what they can do this weekend and possibly bring back a state championship to Rock Island. So he'll join us coming up later in hour number 2. And then also in hour number 2, excited about this, the pregame host for the Oregon Football Network. Also, the play-by-play guy for Oregon men's basketball as well. Joey McMurray will join us around 11:30 our time here in the Quad Cities, and we'll chat about what that big game is and get the Oregon perspective of the Hawkeyes and Ducks, one of the biggest games of the weekend in all of college football at Kinnick Stadium, which looks to be a rainy / cold / windy, maybe snowy day into the evening at Kinnick Stadium. With that being said, and this is not for my benefit at all, but the Hawkeye Tailgate Show is going to get moved inside to the radio booth. So we won't be in Krause Family Plaza, but we'll be rocking and rolling on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Wherever you check out your Iowa radio around the state of Iowa, here in the Quad Cities, it's vintage 107.7 FM WQUD will have the show and the game this Saturday. So we'll still have all that. Honorary captain is Jordan Lomax. We'll have Pat Anger on the show, a media panel as well. We caught up with Aaron Graves, so a really good interview with him. So a lot to get to as we kick off what should be a huge Saturday around the state of Iowa on the Hawkeye Radio Network. That's coming up on Saturday at 12:30. Some news and notes before we get rocking and rolling too much today. The Iowa State women winning last night. They knocked off Southern 85-58. Audie Crooks 29 14, and then 3 assists as well. So a big night for her at the Hilton Coliseum. Volleyball, state volleyball. Our area, the MAC, well represented. Assumption beat their opponent. I can't find their opponent, but they won, I'm sorry, in the semifinals, 3-1. So they'll now take on Humboldt for a state championship today at 2:30. So best of luck to the Lady Knights. A trio of them were on the show last week. Their head coach has been on as well. So we wish them the best of luck. Then in 4A, North Scott beat Clear Creek Amana in an absolute thriller. 5 games. Last game went 15-13 to the Lady Lancers. So they'll play for a state championship at 12:15 against Sioux Center. So that's a 4A state championship. We wish both of those teams the best of luck. What a fun time of year. Volleyball, cross country still going on. Football, you name it, soccer, a really fun time of year, high school wise, college wise, pros wise as well. But we're going to kick off today. We've talked a lot of Iowa, and we'll do that later in the show, but we got to get our Cyclone fix, and there's no better place to go to than our Cyclone expert. So it's that time of the week, maybe a day late, but he's flexible as always. Jake Brend joining us from the Cyclone Fanatic and Iowa Everywhere. Thank you for doing this. I know we were just talking about it. It's a crazy busy time, not just for you, but for like sports people everywhere. This crossover season can get you pretty busy, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I say all of that, and I'm not at state volleyball. So I still feel like I'm in the positive right now as far as amount of things to cover, but it's definitely one of those weeks with the opening tip for men's and women's basketball turned into a 13-14 hour day up at Hilton Coliseum, and then got to find storylines to talk about with the football team. So it's a good time of year, but it's certainly busy.
It's funny because some of my former colleagues were in Iowa City all day Tuesday. And I won't lie. Like, I went up there to get a quick interview done for the radio show, and then kind of came back, and I'm like, man, they have, players, then Ferentz, then there's volleyball in Coralville, and then they had the basketball game at night. I'm just like, yeah, like, I'm okay doing this little show that I do each and every day. That's okay. So I think I want to start with that football team. We'll get to basketball in a second. I want to talk to you about Bill Fenley's group as well, because we really haven't talked about them yet in a while. But football wise, and it's funny because I do our Nest Gas picks here in the Quad Cities, and I've been dying with the Cyclones. I think I've lost 4 straight with them. I remember saying I don't see them losing 2 straight. Then I remember saying I don't see them losing 3 straight, and now so on and so forth. What's the headline with that program right now after suffering their 4th straight loss on Saturday at Jack Trice Stadium?
I'd say the headline is losing in the margins. Matt Campbell's slogan, one of the phrases on the poster, if you will, has always been winning in the margins. And when Iowa State's at its best, that's what they're doing. Last year, they won in the margins. They weren't penalized. They didn't turn the ball over a ton. They made their kicks. This year, they are losing in the margins. No matter how well or how poor they're playing at a certain point in the game, I feel like it always ends with someone shooting themselves in the foot. And that's pretty much what Matt Campbell, Rocco Becht have said after games. John Haycock said on Tuesday. It's really the only answer they have. And they don't have an answer as to why. Why are they continuously shooting themselves in the foot? I would just say losing in the margins has been the biggest reason that they've lost 4 games in a row.
For so many years, especially last year and into this year, the first 5 games, they always figured out a way to win a game. They made the game-winning plays. It seems like the opposite has flipped, and something you kind of just talked about. It seems like they're finding ways to lose games instead of, as they were doing in the past, finding those big plays. We talked about Rocco Becht playing well down the stretch, and if it's a close game, I'll take that guy, and you'll probably be happy. Is that kind of safe to say they're almost finding ways to lose games right now?
Oh, no doubt. They're exclusively finding ways to lose games right now. You go back to that BYU game, and They outgain them. They look like they outplay them in the stat sheet, but you lose by 2 touchdowns because of the margins. You had 6-7 plays that don't go your way that just end up being critical mistakes. Same thing with Arizona State. I don't think Iowa State played well enough to win that game at all, but they were still in it at the end. And what ends up being the difference? A pick, a couple bad penalties, a receiver runs a route short of the sticks, boom, 4-game losing streak. So you're right. For the better part of like 16 games when you go back to last year, Iowa State essentially did nothing but find ways to win. And right now, it couldn't be more polar opposite.
Jake Brend joining us right now and Off There with Matt Randazzo. I've had Iowa State fans say to me, and just in talking with them about, I always go with the eyeball test. And I've said recently with the University of Iowa, like, this group right now, the last 3 games is almost passing the eyeball test. So often Iowa's winning games and they're annoying everybody because the rest of the nation is like, they're not that good. I feel like they're actually passing the eyeball test a little bit. And I've had people say to me, maybe those first 5 games, while they were 5 victories, the eyeball test wasn't what it was. And then you look at the 4-game losing streak, and you just mentioned they played really well against BYU. Like the pick 6 or the pick in the deep in BYU territory was a killer, but little plays. So are they? Isn't there a happy medium? Probably they weren't as good as 5-0, but they're certainly not as bad as the last 0-4. I always tell fans it's probably somewhere in the middle. Is that kind of safe to say this team's probably not as good as that 5-0 start, but I don't think they're as bad as this last 4 games, are they?
Oh yeah, you're totally right. They got up to what, number 12 in the AP poll in that stretch. They're not the 12th best team in the country. They've proven that, but I also don't think they're 4 losses in a row bad. And clearly the results say otherwise because they have lost 4 games in a row, but it is somewhere in the middle. And I think that 5-0 start, it might be a little inflated by you beat a K-State team in a weird Ireland game in a rainy day, but for the most part, you played awesome in the second half, I thought. You beat an Iowa team that was not what they are now. That second week of the season, Iowa team was a shell of themselves compared to the team they're rolling out in November. You struggle with Arkansas State, so the signs were there. But I still think at the end of the day, finding ways to win those games is what's important, and that's what they did. And in my opinion, it was kind of the injuries that derailed the season. And the injuries just have continued to snowball into November, somehow even worse than they were a month ago.
Yeah, and you can't always – yes, there's that next man up mentality, but with certain guys, you can't lose certain guys. When you look at it too, then how does it get fixed? And the weird thing is – and I'd never even thought about it, but then listening to some podcasts and social media and all that kind of stuff, do you do anything at quarterback? I know Rocco's not playing great, but it's still like the track record's there, the resume's there, if that makes any sense. And I think he'll be the first to admit that he's not been playing his best football. Your thoughts on the quarterback position? You're not making any changes, are you?
I'm not making a change at starting quarterback. I did think during the third quarter of that last game that they should have considered making a change. The problem right now is Rocco is hurting the team's chances to win, which sucks because I was claiming a month ago that he was closer to the best quarterback in the country than the 10th best. And I think whatever happened in that hit against Arizona, the hit against Cincinnati, it's changed something because he's not running the ball as much. He's not scrambling a ton. I don't know if that's subconscious. I don't know if that's coach's orders. Either way, I think him being forced to be almost strictly a pocket passer, I think has hurt him. And I think this week, if you could go to TCU and use one of the freshmen who are both good runners, just use them in a little package to switch things up, or give Rocco an opportunity to see 2 plays from the sideline. I think the more that you could switch things up without hurting his confidence, the better. Because that's what he said last week after the game. He just said, it's frustrating. We don't know what's wrong, but we have to change something. We don't know what, but we as players have to change something. And I think if you could throw one of those freshman quarterbacks in a package, which they've done before already. They've done it a couple times this year. They used it last year. So I think that could maybe do something positive to get Rocco out of his own head.
Is he still the future at quarterback in Ames?
Yeah, absolutely. The good news is if you want one player having a problem, it's Rocco Becht, because you know he's going to work out of it. Right now, I think it's a combination between getting over some mental barrier that happened somewhere during that losing streak. I kind of pinpoint it to that hit against Cincinnati, that just a nasty hit that he took to the head. Like, he's still Rocco Becht. He still led the team to an 11-2 season last year. Like, he's in there, and he's not gone. He was there this season. So I really do think he's just one good game away from snapping out of it. And that could be this Saturday. I don't necessarily think it will be, but Matt Campbell, Rocco Becht, they've proven before that if they're not expected to win, sometimes that's their best shot to go win.
Jake Brend joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Let's talk about this week. They go on the road to TCU. And I hate to say it, but this was the first week that I stopped my picking of the Cyclones, which is probably a good thing. Maybe it's me.
Oh, me too.
Maybe it's me. They go on the road to TCU. What do you know about the Frogs? Obviously a good football team, tough place to play. What do we first know about the opponent before we talk about the game itself?
Yeah, they're a team that has extreme home-away splits, which is bad news for Iowa State because they're great at home. Josh Hoover, 16 touchdowns at home, 1 interception. I think they've got the best wide receiving core in the Big 12. Certainly the best receiving core that Iowa State has seen so far, which, if you've looked at Iowa State's injury report, their secondary is completely depleted. I don't like this matchup as much as I maybe like the spot of Iowa State coming off 4 straight losses, getting out of Ames, going into a place saying it's us against the world. I like that aspect of it. The actual personnel part, when you're looking at the TCU offense against the Iowa State defense, is not great. The Iowa State offense is going to have to score 35 to have a chance, maybe 40.
When you go down there and you mentioned the keys to the game, is it a shootout? And honestly, yeah, that might not be. That's probably the best way to win, but it's also maybe the best way to get Rocco out of his funk. Like, yeah, you want to go win a football game, but even if you lose and you see him kind of get back to himself and do things that he's used to doing, maybe that bodes well for the last couple games of the season.
Yeah, I think you have to hope for a shootout. I would be absolutely shocked if Iowa State held TCU below 30, below 27. And that means your offense is going to have to produce. And what does that mean? There's a world where your defense doesn't hold them to 27. They give up 38, and the offense doesn't break out of their funk, and that's where it could get ugly. And unfortunately, I kind of still think that's what's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but you're going to need the offense to go out there and execute, put the ball in the end zone, because I think they'll be able to move the ball. I don't have any doubts about that. The way they've been able to move the ball against a really good BYU defense, move the ball, like they've been able to do that. They just have to execute in the red zone and stop shooting themselves in the foot.
When you look at this game as well, it kind of sets up for the finish of the season. Where have you adjusted things to? I've had, of course, I'm around a lot of Iowa fans, and there's the chuckling of they're not going to make a bowl game, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the goals of a Big 12 championship aren't there anymore, but
yeah,
winnable games towards the end of the season after this week. Where do you put where this team and what the focus maybe should be for this team, big picture moving forward?
Yeah, I think as much about wins and losses, it should just more be about building momentum into next season. We all know the era of college football that we're in. Guys can leave at any given moment. So the more momentum you can build going into next year, I think the better. And not that Matt Campbell's really ever had a problem at keeping players. It's very similar to how Kirk Ferentz does it. The more reasons you can have for them to stick around, the better. So as much as I'd like to put a win total, I still think 7-5 is really realistic when you've got a mediocre Kansas team at Jack Trice Stadium and an awful Oklahoma State team to close the season. But it still wouldn't feel satisfying for fans at all to be 7-5.
Yeah, no, not especially after being ranked 12th in the nation. But like you said, it's a weird world of college football, and you want to give them reasons to stay in Ames. And if it's, hey, we won the last 2 games, maybe a bowl game, get to 8-5, and then let's rock and roll. And again, I'll say the same thing with Iowa State fans that I say to Illinois fans. If you're 8-5 and you're really complaining and you're really disappointing, that's a good place to be. That's the Iowa fan method of like cranky because they win 8-9 games. And it's like, there's a lot of teams that would rather be that. And Iowa State's lived it recently, and Illinois has as well. Give me a prediction for this game before we talk hoops.
I went 41-23 TCU. Until the offense shows me that they can go out and execute for 60 minutes, I can't keep predicting it to happen. So I kind of think the defense gets picked apart, and it's not really anybody's fault when you look at missing. As of right now, they're missing 4 of their 5 starters in the back end of that secondary. Their 2 best defensive linemen are questionable. It's got all the makings to have to be a shootout, and I don't know if I have the confidence right now in Iowa State to make it a shootout.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And next week's a fantastic spot. Like, I think they might beat the Jayhawks by 100 if they do lose this week. But like you mentioned, it's that vibe, that feel that like it's us against the world, and that's sometimes the most dangerous football teams in college football. But it's a tough spot going down there when you look at X's and O's. You spent like 1 million hours at the Hilton Coliseum on Monday.
Sure did.
We'll start with the guys. I guess their opener, what did you see from them? You'd seen them in exhibitions. You'd seen them against Creighton. Your thoughts, what you pulled out of Monday before we talk about a game tonight for Iowa State?
Yeah, it was the first time that we've seen Tamin Lipsey and Killian Torrey share the court. And what you're watching is essentially a Tamin Lipsey clone from when he was a freshman, but he's French. He's a couple inches taller. He's a little bit more, not athletic, because Tamin's insanely athletic, a little less tread on his tires, if you will. Torrey didn't tear his ACL in high school, so he's kind of what Tamin Lipsey would have looked like as a freshman if he was completely healthy. Of course, there's all the intangible stuff that he's still going to have to develop, but having those two out there instantly makes Iowa State one of the best perimeter defensive teams in the country. Torrey is a hound dog, and he is an on-ball defender, which for the most part, the last 3 years, Lipsey has been the primary on-ball defender, which he's incredible at. But his best strength is kind of playing free safety, and someone else traps someone, he reads the play, pick 6 the other way, go for a layup. He had 5 steals. He's already the all-time steals leader at Iowa State. He's going to shatter that record. And I think what I saw from those two is something that will translate to the more important games that I think Iowa State fans should be through the roof when they're talking about the defensive ability of this team.
So will they play a lot together? Is that something that you see them on the floor at the same time together?
Yeah, so they started. I was shocked that Torrey started. Torrey started over Nate Heisey. Heisey's kind of filled into that Curtis Jones 6th starter role, which we talked to him yesterday, and he's like, I'm perfectly good with it. It's not about who starts, who doesn't. It's about the minutes and the impact. So they're going to start Torrey next to Tamin, which I was shocked by, but I absolutely loved. I just love me some perimeter defense. And Otzelberger actually said back at Media Day that he thought that this team had the ability to be on par with his first team when it comes to perimeter defense. And you don't want to be on par with that first team as a whole because they couldn't score the ball.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm seeing where he's coming from with the perimeter defense. And Taman, Killian Torrey, Nate Heisey, Jamarian Bateman, he's still going to figure it out. Like, they've got some really, really good defenders out there behind the 3-point line.
Absolutely. And it's funny because defense in the state of Iowa is becoming a thing between obviously what Iowa State does all the time. And then, gosh, the amount of text messages I got the other night with like Iowa actually playing defense, which it's a thing. And it's kind of fun to watch as well. Tonight they play Grambling State. Obviously it's Grambling State. It's not the marquee matchup. It should be a victory. What are you looking for? What are you interested in as yes, this is an easier game, but the competitive games come quickly. You know, we're not too far away from sitting down on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night or whatever and watching really good basketball. What are you looking at tonight when you go to Hilton Coliseum?
Well, so Iowa State plays Mississippi State on Monday.
Yeah.
So they get their first real test, and my gosh, the Bulldogs, last night they were in a dogfight with Northern Alabama.
Ooh.
You would have loved. I should have texted you, Dazza. This is my bad. I live bet the Bulldogs at like -5.5. They ended up winning by 25.
Oh.
It's the best time of the year for sports betting. Just watch.
It's still it's still working. Yeah.
You just got to find when power teams are losing.
Free money. Here.
My bad. I'll key you in next time. You just got to find
Please.
when the power teams are losing and live bet them. They're going to cover them.
Especially
no matter
at
what.
home too.
It's guaranteed. But anyways, Mississippi State is they're similar to Iowa State. They are a bunch of defensive dogs. I'd say they're a little more athletic, less skilled than Iowa State, but they're a big test. And Grambling State, TJ, he called them the Houston of the whatever conference they're coming from. They are massive. Like, I don't have any fear of Iowa State losing this game, but I think they're going to be tested in different ways than normal in these type of games, just with the amount of length and size they have down low. Now, Grambling could struggle to score 30. It would not shock me whatsoever. But Iowa State might have some offensive problems if they're not able to hit some threes because they're going to be so big on the inside. And it'll be a good test for Blake Buchanan, Dominicus Plata, and Eric Mulder, 3 guys who are still kind of ironing out what their roles are going to be down low.
Have you looked ahead before I want a little women's basketball before I let you go? I know I'm keeping you long, but have you looked at all ahead to the Iowa State matchup? I mean, I know it's always big every year. I love social media because Iowa opens, Iowa fans are excited, Iowa State fans are there to like slap them down, and same thing, vice versa. It's in Ames this year. Did you get a chance to peek at Iowa at all on Tuesday night?
Yeah, I did. I was over at my buddy's golf simulator league, and we had the game on, and they looked good. They looked the part of a Ben McCollum coach team, and they played faster, like I kind of expected. Sturts looks like an NBA player, and they're going to be a really tough team to game plan for. And I think their path to the NCAA tournament is going to be, how do I put this? They're not going to be the best team out there. They're not going to be the most skilled, but you know that they're going to be so well coached and they're not going to beat themselves ever.
Yeah, and there's sometimes if you're a basketball team, like you don't have to be the best 5 players, but if you run your stuff correctly, if that makes sense,
yeah,
like you're the better basketball team. Go ahead, I didn't mean to jump in.
No, you're good. That's exactly what I was trying to say. They're going to pull an upset or two in Big 12 in Big 10 play because of that reason alone, and that's why McCollum is such a good coach and such a proven coach. And of course, it's going to be an uphill battle in year one, like it is for any coach. But when you got Bennett Sturts, there's a lot that's possible.
Yeah, and the way they played defense, it was funny because I thought of that Iowa game, and you're talking about perimeter defense and Iowa actually playing defense. I think that was a frustrating thing for Iowa fans. I said to Tom Kakert the other day, it's funny because there'd be so many times Iowa would be explosive and go on a 15-0 run or 12-2 run or whatever, and then they give it back like literally 90 seconds later. I don't think that happens anymore, and that's the fun thing with watching Iowa State and the way they want to defend it. You were there for the women as well. Your thoughts early on Bill Fenley's team, and obviously Audie Crooks is fantastic. There's high expectations for the Iowa State women as well.
Yeah, I think this has the chance to be the best Fenley team since they went to the Elite Eight in the early 2000s. Like they're really good. This is easily the fastest Bill Fenley coach team that I've ever seen. They just running up the floor all day long. Again, I mentioned perimeter defense with the men. Perimeter defense with the women is a problem that they addressed. And you bring in Jada Williams, the influencer, all this, 800,000 Instagram followers. Yeah, all that's true, but she's a dang good basketball player, and she's a pit bull out there. So I like what I've seen through the Cyclones through their first 2 games. Of course, you got to go prove it. There's been a lot of Fenley teams with expectations that you say, hey, they can make an Elite Eight. And a couple of years ago, they were beating a 10 seed away from going to the Elite Eight. So they've got to actually do it. But I think this team has a lot of the makings of a deep March run.
No, I would completely agree. Before I let you go, football-wise, big matchup in the Big 12 with BYU going to Texas Tech. I know in your other part of your world, when you freelance a little bit, it's the Big 12 podcast that you do on Iowa Everywhere. Just your thoughts on that game. And I think it's funny because I've evolved with BYU a little bit, as I think you may have as well. Can they continue to stay undefeated? And is it best for the conference for BYU to stay undefeated and kind of be that shiny Big 12 toy at the end of everything?
I was thinking about that. I still think it's in the conference's best interest to get Tech in the playoff no matter what, because their defensive line is on par, if not close to Ohio State, Georgia, Indiana. Like they are the Big 12 team that can win a couple playoff games. I don't know if they can win a national championship, but they can win a playoff game or two. However, if you're looking at trying to get 2 teams in the playoff, it's probably better for BYU to lose this weekend, or to win this weekend, get to Jerry World undefeated, and then have Tech knock them off. That's where you get 2 in. As far as this weekend goes, BYU absolutely can stay undefeated. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think this is the first game where they're going to be completely outmatched across the board, and that's not against their roster. I think they've got a really, really good football roster. I just think Tech is at a whole nother level, and Tech flexed their muscles once again last week against Kansas State. It'd been a while since we'd seen it. They'd been dealing with some injuries. I kind of think Tech goes out there and rolls in a great atmosphere in Lubbock.
No, I kind of agree with you there too. I don't know how many the Big 12 get in, if it is, but that's a scenario I never thought of. If BYU keeps winning and then Tech wins, and if BYU has 1 loss, you have to put them in, and then Tech obviously goes in as the Big 12 champion. So, pump the stuff. Cyclone Fanatic, Iowa Everywhere. Tell people about it here in the eastern side of the state that might not know, that are fiending that Cyclone coverage that they need.
Yeah, well, if you're fiending, you've got a constant source of Cyclone content over at Cyclone Fanatic. Our YouTube channel right now is insane. I feel like I'm uploading 5 or 6 videos each day. I'll be at the Iowa State men's basketball game tonight against Grambling State. I'll have a post-game report. I'll have highlights. We'll have all the full post-game pressers. So check out Cyclone Fanatic at YouTube or cyclonefanatic.com. And then, Iowa Everywhere. I host a podcast called Bigger Than 12, and it is the college football game of the weekend is in the Big 12 this Saturday. So I'll react to all of that with my buddy Derek Duke on Sunday on Bigger Than 12 on Iowa Everywhere.
Did you get to have fun at Halloween at all?
What?
Uh-oh.
It's a loaded question.
Don't get yourself in trouble here.
I went to Prairie Meadows. I was
going to ask if you got arrested, but I don't think you did.
No.
Okay, nothing crazy.
I was trying to think which
Do you dress
day
up?
Halloween was. No, I didn't. I
Well,
didn't find out we were doing anything, my buddies and I, until like 5 o'clock that night. So, like,
would you have dressed
I'm lame.
up?
Probably not.
See, I'm in the minority where like people are like, "Did you dress up?" I said no. I go no, and they'll go, "Why?" And I'll say I'm an adult. Like, I'm that kind of person that unless I'm going to a costume party, I guess you have to. But I've even gone with my wife to a costume party where she's like, "You have to dress up. We'll figure something out." I'm lame, but maybe I'm not. You're not nearly as lame as I am, though.
No, I'm pretty lame. I'm just uncreative too and lazy. So maybe one of these years I'll dress up for Halloween, but I didn't have much of a desire to do it this year.
Are you a Halloween guy?
Yeah, I like Halloween. I like Halloween movies. I like everything about the holiday. I like the time of the year it's in.
Rank these: Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween.
Thanksgiving over Christmas.
Oh, I don't get me wrong, it's a 1A, 1B, but I love Thanksgiving. You throw in the day before when everyone's back in the hometown, you go and have dinner, have some beers, like that night spilling into a day of just nothing but football, food, and family. There's nothing that beats that.
I completely.
And feast week, some basketball too. Don't forget about that.
I completely agree. And like my wife is big on like, you'll see the Christmas stuff out right now, and she won't let Christmas movies or Christmas music or anything happen till after Thanksgiving because she feels like Thanksgiving gets
That's the way to do
lost. And so, I'm a Lions fan. So like Thanksgiving for me when I was growing up was like the only day of the year that I was guaranteed that I was going to see the Lions on TV. That and the Bears games. I would always see the two Bears games and Thanksgiving were the three games I could see on TV. So I do love Thanksgiving. I don't know about more than Christmas, but I do love Thanksgiving. All right. With that being said, you got a lot of work to do. Get out of here. We appreciate you, and we'll catch up with you again next week. Thank you, my friend.
Sweet. Thanks, Dazzo.
All right. That is Jake Brend. Join us here on Off the Air on a Thursday, not a Wednesday. And it is a big game for Iowa State. And it's amazing how quickly things have changed. But in college football, things can go back the other way quickly. And like Jake mentioned, Iowa State almost has to look more towards next year and setting a tone and an expectation and a want to be part of that program and get things rolling in the right direction heading into next season, maybe more than actually picking up victories this season. But they both work in the same way. You need to get some victories and get them soon. So coming up next, we got some great segments coming up. Really excited. Up after the break, we're going to talk a little Geneseo Football. They had an amazing game on Friday. A thrilling victory, onside kick, late field goal, all those kind of things. Their star standout, Kye Weinzierl, will join us right after the break. You're watching OTA on a Thursday. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. It's a big weekend of high school football, which it usually is in the beginning of November, and it's a special time out in Geneseo. So last Friday we did the show out in Geneseo for the second straight time. I don't want to take a bunch of credit, but Geneseo goes on and wins again. So we're 2-0 out in Geneseo. We have nothing to do with it. It's the players, the coaches, as they pulled off a thrilling come from behind 16-14 victory over Rochelle. And joining me now to talk all about it is their senior running back and safety and everything else that you do on the team. Kye Weinzierl joining me right now. Kye, can I get a little credit? Can Off the Air get some credit for giving you guys all the mojo all season?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to send you guys a Christmas card over there. It's been awesome.
It's been a blast, and I deserve no credit because you guys did awesome. I want to start with Friday night. I know you guys are focused and moved on to Macomb, but we got to revisit it. Going into that game, I know there was so much energy and anticipation around Geneseo. Before we get to the finish, what was it like getting that home playoff game, being in front of those fans, knowing the tradition of what Green Machine football is?
Yeah, it was super exciting. Could definitely tell it was a big deal in the town, so we had to kind of keep that within our heads and just have that with us. But we had to focus and practice and stuff. And as a team, we were excited. We were ready to get another chance at them after having a sour taste in our mouth after last time, and so we were all pretty excited about it.
Absolutely. I know that it was a different game because week one was a long time ago, and you guys are playing such good football right now. It goes down to the wire. We talked about it on Monday a little bit with John Marks, but down to the wire, you get the touchdown late to tie it. Take me through that play because it kind of things broke down a little bit. You found yourself open in the end zone. Jackson found you. Take me through that play and how you saw it from your eyes.
We obviously needed to make something happen, and was on a wheel route, and saw Jackson scrambling, so I just kind of found a spot, and Jackson made an amazing play and threw it up, and it was ended up being a touchdown and opened some doors.
It gets you guys within one. You go for two. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, hats off to your head coach, Matt Furlong. Absolutely. That's the correct decision. Go for it. You don't get the 2-point conversion. It's 14-13, and maybe there's some letdown in the stands and the fans. And Coach Morrissey was on from Moline yesterday. He was out there watching the game, but he said he never saw that from your sideline. What was that like in that moment? Because obviously disappointing you didn't get the 2, but there was never any quit. What's going on in the sidelines at that point?
I mean, we were definitely faced with a lot of adversity in that moment, and I think kind of our mantra all year has been dealing with adversity, and I think that was kind of our mindset of hey, we gotta this game out there and make something happen.
You guys get out there, you make something happen, and it's an onside kick. Take me through that onside kick. Obviously, you need some bounces to go your way, but I tell everybody, you guys practice that stuff, and special teams are so important. What goes through your mind when you see that ball bounce the way it does and the green jerseys jump on top of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, that's something we're routinely doing in practice and have its own segment. It's a super important and kind of underappreciated thing in football. And Carson Peters has done such a great job all year in that special teams unit. And he got us a good hop, and Lincoln Barnett went up in there and made a great tackle and forced the fumble, and is an electrifying moment just to be involved with it. And it was amazing.
Did you know at that point you're going to win the game? I know there's more work to be done, and there's a lot more work to be done. But is that the point? Maybe not that you didn't think that to begin with, but that momentum had to be something on that sideline.
Yeah, absolutely. After that play, it was kind of like I felt like we had all the momentum and it was in our favor, and I think that ultimately helped us in the outcome of the game.
Take me through that kick. Obviously, it's the last play of the game. Where are you at? Are you on the field? Are you blocking? Are you on the sideline holding hands? Are you shutting your eyes? Are you what?
Yeah, I was on the sideline for that one. I was with my coach Samoski. We were standing there next to each other and just kind of holding on to him tight, hoping it went in. And I had ultimate faith in Carson. We give him a lot of trouble at practice when it comes to kicking days. We'll be in his ear yelling and stuff, and he's done an amazing job all year and had faith in him. And once I saw it was up, I knew it was going in.
Okay, you guys yelling at him during practice isn't nearly the same as kicking a playoff game-winning field goal. What's it say about that guy's moxie? And somebody told me he said he didn't hit it right. He didn't kick it right. But it don't matter how you kick it. It's the result of going through the so what's it say about him to be, present in that moment and maybe things don't go flawlessly but get the job done?
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to replicate that big of a situation. Not really something you can do in practice, but Carson's a great kid, always has his head up, is always ready for the next challenge, and he stepped up huge when it mattered the most, and I had ultimate faith in him.
Can you take me through the celebration? Do you remember the celebration? Because sometimes you just don't know what's going on. You're just going nuts. What was the moment like with that team? Not even just on the field, ringing the bell in the locker room. What was that moment like with a bunch of guys I know you guys are really close with?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just kind of like I can't even put it into words. It was just super electric and exciting, and everybody was just so happy to be a part of it and so happy that we overcame the stuff that we did, and it was just an amazing night.
Kye, a lot of teams might have quit at several points during that game. What's it say about this group of guys in Geneseo that you never quit throughout the entire evening and came away with a victory?
Absolutely. From our O-line to our defense to our special teams, we got a bunch of gritty, tough dudes on our team, and we've taken pride in that since the summertime. Our strength and conditioning coach, Coach James, he gives us some tough workouts in the summer, and going through that together as a team has certainly shaped our ability to deal with adversity off the football field and translated that mindset onto the football field. And just practices are always competitive, always getting into it, and I think that's ultimately shaped our team's mindset to, hey, we're going to go out here and we're going to give whoever we're playing the 4 quarters of our best football.
Geneseo's Kye Weinzierl joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I said to you guys before the season, or like week 2 when you're out there, that Coach Furlong just seemed like a perfect fit, and you guys have taken to him. He's been Geneseo football and him kind of go hand in hand, and it's rare. And you look at your program and the tradition, you know that like you don't have a lot of head coaches. They usually get there, stay a while, win a bunch of games, and then they hand it off to the next guy. What is it about that guy that fits not the football Geneseo, but maybe the community Geneseo and what that whole program and community is all about?
Absolutely. Coach Furlong has been great. He's kind of came here and didn't take much molding to say into the Geneseo mindset. He kind of came here and was similar to what we'd been here, and he's just it's been awesome. It's been amazing having him as a head coach, and I'm super glad that he got the opportunity here, and it's just been an amazing past 2 years.
Now you get to play more football, and you go on the road to Macomb, and I had a few Geneseo people mad at me probably Monday because they watched the show, and I started talking about like they could play at home in the quarterfinals, and people are like, shut up, don't talk about that. Obviously it's a big game with Macomb. What do you see from them? What do you know about them? And what do you have to do to be successful maybe coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, Macomb, they're a good team. They've got some good athletes, and I think we're just going to go out there and play the football we've been playing, believe in our preparation, and go out there and give them, like I said earlier, give them the best 4 quarters we can.
Why is this team playing such good football? And it's 6 in a row. Is that right? 6 in a row. But you look at, and obviously the Rochelle thing is an amazing game. We went through it, but you guys went down to Quincy, a really good 6A school, and beat them really handily last week of the year. And it's been like that through the last couple. What's clicking for Geneseo football right now?
I think a big part of that was that UT game when we came out on top in those last couple seconds, and that kind of molded us into the team where we're going to be like, all right, we got some adversity, and now we're going to go out and we're going to deal with it. And so I think that's kind of shaped us, and I think that's been our identity. And I think that's made us who we are and made us successful throughout these past weeks.
Kye, I know you're a team first guy and it's team goals first, but individually, dude, you're having a really good season. Had a really great season. What has it been like for you this year? And along with the success individually has come some individual accolades. What do you think when you see, the different offers coming in and the awards and those kind of things? What goes through your mind?
I mean, yeah, it's been awesome. Got to thank all my teammates and coaches and family have helped get me here, and it's just been an amazing experience. I just put in a lot of hard work, and just seeing results has been amazing. So I'm super grateful for everybody that's helped me reach those goals and everything like that, and I'm just appreciative.
College coaches are taking notice, and I'll say it's about time. And you get the offer from Western Illinois last week. I know there's other ones out there, more interest coming in. One, is that gratifying? And then two, where are you at when all that, I mean, obviously you're focused on football, so you're probably not thinking too much about that, but where are you at when it comes to that next step of playing college football?
Oh yeah. It's super gratifying. It feels good. And right now focused on winning some more playoff games. And so yeah, it's just kind of get to focus on the season, and then once season comes to an end, we'll start getting working on that next step process.
What is it like to get some recognition? I'm assuming you grew up wanting to play college football like everybody else. I did too. Unfortunately, you're athletic and fast, and I'm not. What's it like to get those people to get? It might have taken a little longer than you wanted, but it sure. And you mentioned the people around you have to make it even more special.
Mm. Yeah, I've grew up watching my older brother Jaden playing football, and so he went and played at North Central for a little bit, and so it was just he was kind of my guy to look up to, and his experiences were amazing, and I kind of followed in those footsteps and decided I want to play college football, and it's just been kind of a dream come true to go on this run with this team and get some recognition. It's been amazing.
Kye, pretend that Jaden's not going to watch this show, and I won't tell him. Who's a better football player, him or you?
I'm gonna have to say me. He was offensive. You tell you it's him, but he was great. He was an offensive guy, so I've got to poke fun at him for that. I'm a defensive guy, and so that's a little rivalry there. But yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk to you about this team before I let you go. When it comes to kind of the off the field stuff, we talked a little bit about it when we were out there, and I'm trying not to repeat the same questions I may have asked you guys while I was there. But when it comes to the celebrations, and I don't know if we talked about it when we were out there, but obviously there's no bigger one than maybe Friday night. How do you guys celebrate? How do you guys, is there a tradition, a place to go when it comes to how to celebrate and why?
Yeah, we're a pretty close knit group. We've all been around each other. Obviously, Geneseo is not the biggest town. We've all known each other since we were little, and the I guess traditions are we always go over and ring the bell, as everybody knows, and then have some fun in the locker room, and then we'll head over to McDonald's. McDonald's is a spot
That's
after,
right.
and then yeah, and then Saturday mornings we go out to breakfast at the Sunrise Cafe in town after practice. So
Okay.
Yeah.
What's at the Sunrise Cafe? Is it some good food?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
What's
the breakfast
What's the
spot.
meal? What's the meal?
I get the chocolate chip waffles.
And they're probably ridiculous.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Okay, so Logan Lee who plays football for the Steelers right now, lives in Geneseo during the offseason last year. It's where his wife's from. He was telling me about some breakfast spot that has this amazing breakfast sandwich. Is it the same place?
I think he might be talking about the Locomotive. There's
That's
a Tiger Belly. Yep.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's really good.
All right. I got to go to breakfast in Geneseo. I should have done it on Friday. Maybe I'll come next week if there's a quarterfinal game. Not that we're putting Carter ahead of horse or that kind of stuff as well, but hopefully that's something we can do. Hey, if you're playing a different sport, and you may, but if you're maybe next level wise, if you can say, hey, I can be a professional athlete, but it's not football, what's the sport?
Well, I'm a wrestler. So there's not really professional wrestling, but
there is, but it's the goofy type that No, I'm talking WWE, baby.
Oh, WWE, yeah.
You're not gonna do that?
No, I couldn't do that.
But what else would you, if you wanted to do a different sport? You don't even have to be good at it. What would you love to be good at?
I'd love to be able to play basketball at a high level. Those dudes are so athletic, and it just amazes me. So that'd be fun. But hurts to say as a wrestler, but that'd be pretty sweet.
Before I let you go, and I may have talked about it before, but is there a class clown on this team? And I mean that in the nicest way. Somebody that, like, when you need to laugh, they're there to make you laugh. Sometimes when you don't need to laugh, they're probably there to make you laugh, which is okay too. Is there that person or two on this football team?
Yeah, on this team we got a locker room full of them, but I would say for sure our center, number 52, Alfredo Jimenez. He's that guy that no matter times are low or high, he's going to be able to put a smile on your face and kind of like, let's get back at it, let's go. And he's always there to make people laugh and smile, and so yeah.
I love it. Last one for you. When you look at Geneseo, you know the tradition. When did you were you like 5 watching out there going, this is what I want to do. This is what I saw they brought back the touchdown sign that comes up over the bleachers, and we had so many. Wayne Strader was on the show talking about the Geneseo tradition. I know it well. When did you realize what you were? I don't want to say getting into, but growing up in and being part of.
So we lived in Orion when I was younger, and we moved here when I was about like 10 or so.
Okay.
And I remember coming to my first football game, and it was mesmerizing. Stands were full, it was loud, the band was awesome, and so just that experience, and kind of you don't really realize it until you get up to the varsity level of how cool it is to be on the field while it's happening.
I love it. I talked to Coach Morrissey yesterday, and obviously him and Coach Furlong are friends, and he's pulling, and I think they all are. Are you guys rooting for Moline? Is it one of those things that now that you're done battling in the regular season, it's the Western Big Six and kind of rooting for the other Western Big Six team still alive in the postseason?
Yeah, Moline's a great team, as they've shown all season, and it'd be amazing to see another Western Big Six team continue to make a run. So yeah.
Kye, I love it. I love everything you guys are doing out there. I've had a blast the 2 times. Anytime I get an excuse to go to Geneseo and hang out with Dan Pearson, I'm going to take every single part of it that I can. Go win this week. Go down to Macomb, get a win, and we'll hang out with you guys maybe the quarterfinal Friday as well. So best of luck. Stay healthy, and go get another win or 2 or 3. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Kye. Kye Weinzierl, Geneseo standout, getting ready for another big game coming up against Macomb this weekend. And what a crazy, crazy finish. I was on my way to Detroit. We went to Detroit for the weekend. We left right after trick-or-treating, and I'm following it on Twitter. And I think it was Drake Lanesman, and I'm just constantly refreshing. I had my son next to me refreshing, and we finally watched the video and all that kind of stuff. So an awesome moment for Geneseo. Good luck to the Green Leafs coming up this weekend as well. We got more to get to. You're watching OTA on a Thursday right here in the Quad Cities.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. We talk about fall sports, and it's that time of year. Postseason in full swing. Football, volleyball's great right now. Soccer, pretty great as well, especially if you're at Rock Island High School. And it's been great seasons in the Western Big Six. Moline had a great season. UT did. Alleman did as well. But I don't know if enough attention's getting thrown towards Rock Island. The Rocks winning a super sectional championship just the other night, and they're heading to state for the first time in school history. And now joining me to talk all about it is one of the Rock Island standouts, Jonas Cortez, joining me right now. Jonas, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Anything just to represent the team.
I love it. And we want to talk about that just for a second because we got a lot to get to, but I don't want to say you guys have flown under the radar. And the other teams I just mentioned, great seasons and all of those kind of things. Do you guys feel like maybe you've been overlooked a little bit when it comes to the special season that you guys have been having?
Yeah, I feel like we have been because we're playing really good when it matters the most. And all the regular season, it is frustrating to lose some of those games to, the local conference teams. But I couldn't be happy enough to right now is when we're blooming as a team because this is when it matters the most.
What has this been like? I know you mentioned playing your best soccer at the right time of the season. I feel like you're doing that. I think it's a 7-match win streak. What's clicking? What's right with Rock Island soccer right now?
I feel like just going through those tough losses, them setbacks, it really brought us better together, chemistry as a team. And just getting us those tough losses have just been getting us stronger for the postseason, and that's just it. Them tough losses, them setbacks, it's just getting us honestly stronger, and it's getting us more chemistry as a team, and just it's just getting us stronger overall.
Absolutely. You look at it too. What was the attitude or the confidence level going into the postseason? I think you guys knew how good you were. Winning that regional, moving on, and then winning sectionals. What's the confidence been like, and what were your expectations when you guys came into the postseason?
My expectations was just leave it all on the field. It's win or go home. So I obviously told our teammates we got to leave it all out here. Let's leave a statement. That we haven't won a sectional title in Rocky history, and I feel like this is the year we could definitely make some noise and do something. And I was just telling, even towards the bench, it's win or go home. We all have to have the same mentality. So that's what I just feel like we all just had to have that win or go home mentality.
Absolutely, and it's paid off and it's working. Let's go back to that sectional because you mentioned you never won a sectional championship in school history. What was that feeling like? What was that victory like? We'll get to the one that got you to state, but just doing that and getting that sectional, what was that like for you guys and your teammates?
It was like the greatest feeling in the world. Like it was just so many emotions at one time, especially over a tough team Dunlap too. They obviously beat us in the regular season, but we just came back stronger, and I feel like it was just a great feeling. Like just so many emotions at one time. It was like I was so happy, like I could almost shredded a tear.
I love it. I love it. And I know you guys were happy and not content. Talk about that because some schools might feel content winning that sectional championship. You guys refocus, bounce back, get ready to rock, and then take me back to, I believe it was Tuesday night. What was that like? Maybe coming in as a favorite for the first time in a while and taking care of business, winning 4-0 and punching that ticket to state for the first time in school history.
It felt good. I feel like we got really good at like handling pressure like, under those tough moments. Like I said, the tough losses, it kind of got us better from handling the pressure in like tough games like that. And I just feel like once we won that sectionals, like our confidence right now, we're just hot. Like I feel like we're just playing so good right now.
I feel like you're going to continue to play well. What's this week been like? And obviously, it's a quicker turnaround. You win Tuesday, playing on Friday night in the state semifinals. Do you feel like you're a red hot soccer team right now? And what's this week been like refocusing? Because I don't think you guys are content yet, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, like this week's just honestly been really good. You know, we came into Tuesday's game, you know, locked in. And today we got the day off, but I feel like when we go to practice tomorrow, you know, like we just practice like this could be our last practice. And like we just take things serious. And that's what's like so good about our team. And I feel like we're just going to be ready for Washington. So.
I love it. I love it. All right, a few things I got to ask you about. I don't know if I would be talking to you in like, let's say August, you'd have pink hair. Explain that to me. Talk to me about what it is and what you guys are doing.
So as a team, we decided to dye our hair for the postseason, and we were debating red or pink, but we decided on pink because of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, obviously last month. And some of our hair color turned out red, and so like on the field, if you see us, some of us will have like red and pink hair, but we try to go with pink. But like obviously we're not professionals, so like some of us will like look like they have red hair, but mine actually turned out pretty well. So it's like one of the pinkest on the team.
All right, well, like, do you like it? Is it a look you might go with in the future? Are you ready to, once you win that state championship, you'll go back to the normal hair look?
That's what I told one of my friends. I was like, if we win the state championship, I'm keeping the pink hair like as long as I can, because that's just gonna be a great achievement, and it'll just be like a memory for me.
Get me prepared for what's next. Talk to me about Friday, and it's another team you guys have lost to in the regular season. But you mentioned you lost to Dunlap. You beat them. I think there's a lot of teams you've lost to, and it's a different Rock Island team now than probably the first time you played these teams. Tell me about Friday and what to expect going into the state semifinals.
I feel like we definitely know how they play. They're a fundamentally strong team, and I feel like since we saw how they play, and when we lost to Washington in the regular season, we didn't have Lawson, obviously one of our star players, and now that we have him and we're just hot right now, I feel like we'll definitely be ready for them. And their only losses to Dunlap, and we just pulled out a victory against them. So I think we're ready for this team.
Absolutely. I like the confidence level right now. I want to talk to you about going to state. You've never done it. The school's never done it, but like you've never done it. What will that part of it be like? I know there's the X's and O's and the preparation and on the field stuff. How do you prepare for that spotlight, that stage? Or is it one of those things where you're kind of getting used to it because it's been big game after big game after big game?
I'm kind of getting used to it, but like after every game, I like to visual it in my head, like us at our team at state, and because like once you visualize it in your head, you'll make it happen. That's like a tool to help me with like these big games under the lights, just visualizing it, and then you'll execute it in the moment.
Is there a moment this season or this postseason where you felt like it clicked? If that makes any sense, is there a turning point moment or a moment where you're like, wait a minute, like this is what we kind of expected or wanted and can be as a Rock Island soccer program?
It was definitely the Dunlap game because they were obviously a tough team. They were one of the top teams in 2A, and once like we went up to scored that second goal in overtime, I was like, we got this in the bag. We could really do something this season. Like it was history already being there, but us just keep going farther and farther. We're just making more history as it happens.
I love it. I want to talk to you about your head coach because your coach wanted the players to get the attention and the spotlight, and I totally get it, and I agree with him 100%. With that being said, I know that guy means a lot to what you guys are doing, so I want to give him a little love. Talk to me about Coach Vroman, what he means to this group, maybe not just on the pitch, but maybe off the pitch as well, and what he means to this program.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I couldn't ask for a better coach. Like he's just a great guy overall. He loves all of us individually, and I feel like he's a teacher in our district, and I had him as a teacher. He's a great teacher. He's a fun coach. I couldn't ask for anything better because he gets along with all of us. He gets the team amped up before games, and he's just a fun guy.
Let's have a little fun. Let's talk about, obviously there's the hair, and we see the hair. Are there any other superstitions, or are there any superstitions with this team when it comes to getting ready for a match, game day, all those kind of things?
It's definitely team dinners. Our assistant coach Sosa, he cooks like the best tacos.
Ooh.
And so before game days, we always go to his house and he just cooks them, and then we watch film, and it's always just a great time eating and then watching film after. But I feel like those tacos, they do something because every time we eat them, we always come up top. So
I like it. I now you're making me hungry. I'm gonna have to get his address one of these times. When you look at yourself, if you could obviously, and I want to ask you before we keep going with the goofy stuff, you're a football player too. You kick for the football team. How'd you balance that this year? And I know there's other athletes around the area that has done that. It's a demanding thing. How'd you balance the two between kicking for the football team and obviously your role and an important role in this soccer team as well?
After school, I would go to football practice, and then we would have soccer practice after. But like I feel like communication was definitely key. Just communicating with Coach Fritz, and then communicating with Roman. Just letting them know, like, I'll be missing this practice or I'll be missing this game. But communication was definitely the biggest part in that. Just letting them know, like, what was happening. So that was definitely a good tool, and I feel like it's a definitely good tool to develop, like, later in life, too.
Absolutely. You look at it, too. You get to wear the Rock Island logo in two different sports. Talk about that. And that seems like something that's probably important to you. To be able to represent your school, not just in one fall sport, but in another fall sport as well, had to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty cool being under the lights on Friday night, then to go into the next week playing a game on Tuesday. It was a good feeling. I honestly couldn't ask for a better program from both sides.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had a great football season, but just at least I put on those jerseys with those guys. That's all I could ask for.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, if you could have dinner with one person in the entire world, we'll have tacos. We'll have Coach Sosa's tacos. But who would you have tacos with, and why?
I would probably want to have tacos with probably Cristiano Ronaldo, because I've been looking up for him since I was like little, 5 years old, 6 years old. I obviously started playing soccer since I was like 5, and before games I would watch his highlights to get me amped up, and I even still got a couple of his jerseys in my closet. So it would probably be Ronaldo. So
I love it. Great answer. Great answer. When it comes to a food around the area, I know you mentioned the pregame tacos, and I get that. A postgame celebration, or for you yourself, when it comes to a Quad City area food that you got to hit up, you got to love, what's the pick to click for Jonas?
definitely beat-ups. Even with different sports, football, after, win, we would definitely hit up beat-ups, just hanging out with the guys and eating some wings and just having a good time.
All right. A lot of people answer that question that way, so I always got to ask, are you a spicy guy? Are you tough? Are you getting like some barbecue stuff? Uh-oh. Jonas, what are you getting?
I'm getting some barbecue stuff for sure. I can't, like, if I get some spicy, I'll be sweating bullets. I can't handle like spicy stuff.
All right, what about this? Bone in or boneless?
You're probably, a lot of people are gonna make fun of me for this, but boneless for sure.
So you're having chicken nuggets, Jonas.
Yeah, that's what my dad. Yeah, that's what people always do.
That's okay. You do you. Don't worry about it. I'll make fun of you a little bit, but you do you. That's a beautiful thing. Last question for you. Is there a goofball on this team? It seems like you all might be a little goofy, which is okay. That's probably a good thing. But is there, in the very nicest way, is there a class clown when it comes to the Rock Island soccer program?
I would definitely say Alex Torres. He's a good guy, and like he'll say some like goofy stuff sometimes, and we'll just all like just start laughing at him. Not in a bad way at all, but he's definitely one of like the goofy guy on the team. No offense, but we all love him. So.
You need that. You need that, especially during the postseason. Jonas, you've been fantastic. I appreciate your time. Rock Island Soccer and everybody. It's one of those things that I've covered this area for a long time. Obviously, your school's supporting you, but when you get to this level, everybody's supporting you when it comes to the Quad City area, which is what I love about this area. So I know the area is pulling for you guys this weekend. Get to work, get to practice, all those kind of things. Stay healthy, and go do some more good things. Get 2 more, and we'll talk to you again next week. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan, man.
All right, I appreciate it. Jonas Cortez, I'll talk to you soon. Go Rocks. I appreciate you. That is Jonas Cortez from the Rock Island soccer program, and they need more attention because they're doing beautiful things. It, like he said, doesn't matter what happens during the regular season. It's about getting better and playing your best at the right time of the season. That's what Rock Island's doing. So we'll have our eyes on them coming up Friday and then Saturday as well, because they're going to win themselves the state championship. We got more to get to. You're watching OTA on a Thursday right here in the Quad Cities. So we'll be right back.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday, November 6th. Thank you guys so much for joining us on YouTube or X or wherever you're listening or partaking to the show. We really, really do appreciate it. It's been a fun show so far, and we've got more to get to coming up in a little bit. In just a few minutes, we're hoping to be joined by Joey McMurry. He is the director of broadcasting for Oregon Sports Network. He does the pregame show for the football broadcast. He's also the play-by-play guy for the Oregon men's basketball program. So kind of get his thoughts and his feel on Iowa, coming to Iowa, his thoughts of what maybe their perspective is of what Iowa football is. And then also I want to know about Oregon football. And obviously it's a very good football team. So we'll talk with him coming up in just a few minutes. So excited about that. But already in the show, we've had our Iowa State segment for the week. Jake Brend joined us to talk about, the 4-game losing streak and then men's basketball, women's basketball as well. So great to catch up with Jake Brend. Geneseo's Kye Weinzierl joined us, the Maple Leafs, with a thrilling, fun first-round playoff victory, unforgettable. So we talked about that and then looked ahead to Macomb. Really good matchup in 4A in round 2. Macomb, 8-1, really good football team, will host Geneseo, who comes in winners of 6 straight games, I think, and playing really good football. I mean, they're 2 weeks removed from going to Quincy and hammering the Blue Devils. So a good football team. Should be a really good game coming up on Saturday. The Rock Island boys soccer team might be the most overlooked story in our area right now. The Rocks winning a super sectional championship for the first time ever. They did that on Tuesday. They will now head to state. They'll play on Friday evening against Washington. One of their standouts, Jonas Cortez, joined us earlier in the show, so go check that out. We just caught up and chatted with Jonas the last segment, so if you missed it, head back and check that out as well. A few notes I want to get to. We'll take a quick break and then hopefully be joined by Joey McMurry from Oregon Radio. The Hawkeye Tailgate Show will come your way across the state of Iowa at 12:30. We'll kick off the coverage of the Iowa-Oregon game on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Normally we're in Krause Family Plaza. I encourage people to stop by. A lot of you have, which I appreciate. There were several that we're going to this week. If you've looked at the forecast, it's not great. So we're going to not be out at Krause Family Plaza. We'll be inside. So, but we still encourage everyone, check us out on radio, wherever you listen to the Hawkeye Radio Network. Here in the Quad Cities, it's Vintage 107.7 FM is the new home for Hawkeye football and basketball and women's basketball right here in the Quad Cities. So you can check us out on that affiliate here in the QC. But wherever you are around the great state of Iowa and you're listening to the Hawkeye Radio Network, 12:30 is when we'll start. We'll have a look back at some historical stuff from Iowa football in November. We'll also have Pat Angerer on the show. Honorary Captain Jordan Lomax will be on the show and join us as well. We'll have our media panel. And we have a really fun interview with Aaron Graves that we recorded on Tuesday up in Iowa City. So a loaded first hour of the Hawkeye Radio Network as we get ready for Iowa and Oregon coming up this Saturday. A lot of people excited, intrigued. 2:30. Now they're saying rain. They're saying wind. Maybe even some snow by the time all said and done. So from the outside looking in, you got to think that favors Iowa. I think there's a misconception. We'll talk to Joey McMurry here in a second about it, but maybe a misconception that the Ducks just want to come in and throw the football all over the stadium, and I don't know if that's the case. They're good up front. They're physical. They got great running backs. So I think they can play big boy football and tough, gritty football as well. But it just seems to be like an Iowa advantage. Small, I don't think it's anything huge, but maybe a small advantage to the Hawkeyes coming up on Saturday. Speaking of Hawkeyes, or maybe former Hawkeyes, Moline's Owen Freeman made his Creighton debut last night. Creighton rolled Owen really, really good. 19 points, 4 rebounds. I think he was 9 of 11 from the field in limited minutes. I think he had 19 points in 19 minutes. So a nice debut for Owen. We'll keep an eye on Owen. Brock Harding opened down at TCU on Monday. 6 points, 6 assists, 5 steals. I think his assist to turnovers was 6-0. So unfortunately, TCU fell in kind of a surprising game to New Orleans. We had Brock on the show last week. Go check that out as well. But we'll keep tabs on our Moline guys throughout the seasons for sure. Season, I should say, for sure. I'm hoping to catch up with Owen Freeman in the next couple weeks right here on OTA as well. So also, volleyball today, and a big volleyball games, a couple of really big volleyball games coming up at 12:15. North Scott will play for a state championship. At 2:30, Assumption will play for a state championship. So we'll keep our eyes on them as well. And then one other thing we wanted to mention before we hit a quick break, some tragic news from the world of the NFL, and really, really sad when you wake up and you see the news that Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Kneeland passed away yesterday. Really nothing confirmed yet. Word coming out now that it's possibly, and you don't even want to speculate, but some press releases coming out. But unfortunately, we won't get into all that. But 24 years old, leaves behind a family, girlfriend, all those kind of things. So our heart and thoughts and prayers goes out to them as well, as they and everybody in general, as we hear some sad news to start off our Thursday in the world of sports. And it goes back to, we love sports. We talk about them all the time, but life is about much more than just sports. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, hopefully chat with the Oregon pregame host, Joey McMurray, right here on OTA. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Thank you everyone watching YouTube, X, all of those kind of things. It's been a fun show so far. We've talked Iowa State, some high school stuff, but this time of year and this week in general, we're talking about Iowa every single day of the week. There's a lot of excitement. The game coming up between Iowa and Oregon this Saturday, 2:30 kick at Kinnick Stadium. As you guys know, this year I started as the pregame host for the Iowa Football and the Hawkeye Radio Network, which is super exciting. And I want to hear and know about Oregon. So we reached out, and we're joined now by Joey McMurray from Oregon, the director of broadcasting for the Oregon Sports Network. Joey, thank you so much for doing this. I feel like it's funny. One of my friends said, who kind of connected us, said pregame host to pregame host. I'm just the pregame host. You do a lot more. I mean, your resume is pretty impressive. I just do the pregame show for football. You're doing men's basketball, play-by-play, everything else. Kind of talk about the things that you do out at Oregon. I know there's a lot.
Well, first of all, thanks, Matt. And I'm glad that I got to connect during a commercial about sandwiches. So now I know where we're supposed to order sandwiches from when we're in your part of the country. So thanks for that. But no, I do get to do a lot. I went to school here. I graduated in 2014. I'm talking to you from our studio. We do a daily show every day that is basically just the mouthpiece of the Oregon Athletic Department, just to put it mildly and be honest with you. That's what we are, right? Like, clearly I'm biased. You're not talking to a journalist, right? Like,
yeah.
I know what I am. But no, I call basketball. I was on the sidelines for 10 years, and then we actually had a death on our broadcast crew a couple years ago. And so Jerry Allen, who is our version of Gary Dolphin, the legend, right? Jerry has been calling play-by-play. This is his 39th season. So
Wow.
Jerry did the game in 1989 at that point, I guess it wasn't Kinnick Stadium yet, right?
Yeah, I think it was at that point. Yeah.
So anyway, the point is, I now run that broadcast. I do pregame. It's a lot of fun, man. I'm sure you can identify with this then, even though it's your first year, it sounds like. The broadcaster sounds good when the team is good. Yeah, in my opinion, Oregon's had some pretty good teams, right?
Yeah.
So it's been I am the first to say that part of why my career has gone the way that it's gone is because the teams that I broadcast are good, right? Like the baseball team was really good under George Horton, and now Mark Wasikowski. I'm sorry to Iowa fans for reminding them of that from last year, but that's the truth, right? So anyway, it's been fun.
No, absolutely. It's funny because, I did local sports here in the Quad Cities for 25 years, and I grew up an Iowa fan, but we're on the border of Iowa and Illinois, so I got my Hawkeyes and Illini, and I was as unbiased as can be, but you're wearing the Oregon quarter zip, and that's what I get to do now for Iowa. I don't have to be as unbiased because I can kind of be an Iowa fan, and you're right, when teams are good, like, it's easy because people want to listen and they want to talk about. Yes, there's that portion of the fan base that loves to dwell in negativity, and so if things are bad, they love to complain. But for the most part, when teams are good, life is good, and that's what's what's coming to Iowa City. Two good football teams when it comes to Oregon and Iowa, 7-1, 6-2. Can you tell us a little about Oregon? And I think there's a misconception, and maybe I'm wrong, that everyone remembers the Chip Kelly throw the ball all over the stadium and all that kind of stuff. I've watched some tape. It's a tough, physical, hard-nosed group as well. Tell us about this Oregon Ducks team and what makes them so special.
Well, I'm glad that you said that coming from the traditional Big Ten football that is Iowa, right? I mean, look, narratives occur for various reasons. And the fact is that Oregon rose to prominence with what you're talking about, right? The blur, and, it's the fastest team and the spread option that Chip Kelly would run. And that is a huge part of Oregon's identity because, there's it's funny. So Chris Hampton, we do our coaches show every Wednesday night, co-defensive coordinator, defensive back coach here at Oregon. And Chris Hampton played at South Carolina, had never been in this part of the country before coming to work for Dan Lanning. And just last night we asked him, okay, so what was your perception of Oregon before coming out here? Right. And he was like, well, what I remember is uniforms, but also it wasn't just that connection with Nike. It was literally changing the game. Like that innovation that occurred, which really began under Mike Bellotti. And this is something I've loved about Chip Kelly. He has said that now multiple times publicly, like, well, he didn't raise the program to prominence. He just picked up where Mike Bellotti left off. And so anyway, the point is it was kind of a build in that way, but changing the game on the field, I think is what has led to that national narrative. Now, to that point though, I mean, you said it. Now Dan Lanning, and really this started under Coach Cristobal. Mario Cristobal now at Miami. Mario Cristobal was like, no, we can be this physical team in the trenches. And Coach Lanning, with the way that he's recruited, bringing that sort of Nick Saban, Kirby Smart coaching tree with him, that's what Oregon is now. It is a physical team that wants to hit explosive plays in space. I mean, right, like the biggest indication of who's going to win a football game, as our longtime analyst Mike Jorgensen always says, like, you got to win in the trenches and run the ball, right? That's what Mike always says that. And then, but to me, it's like it comes down to winning the turnover battle and explosive plays. Well, the way to do that is play fundamental football, win in the trenches, and have athletes that are going to make plays. And that's what Coach Lanning has done. He's built it that way. And I'm glad that somebody, again, in the traditional Big Ten physical football country is saying, well, Oregon is that physical team too. And, again, I'm a little bit biased, but Oregon did win the Big Ten last year and ran into a buzzsaw in the Rose Bowl that was Ohio State. But Oregon's only lost one Big Ten football game since joining the conference. And I think that tells you something because of the historic powers like Iowa that are in this conference.
Yeah, and I think it's almost overlooked. when it comes to. That's a fantastic fact, because obviously they know they win a lot of games, but they've won a lot of games in the Big Ten. Flip it around. When you're out at Oregon and you're making a trip to the Midwest for the first time in 4 decades to play an Iowa team, what do you know? I mean, there's the national perspective of Iowa, which is, defense, kicking, punting, maybe not the best offense in the world, throwing the football. What's the perception in Oregon of Iowa football, and then what's to come this weekend in a really good game at Kinnick Stadium?
Well, first, tremendous respect. I mean, a few things that I've hit on our show this week. One, it's very rare to have somebody like Kirk Ferentz, who has been there for as long as he has and has been as successful as he has. And Coach Lanning has said, just a tremendous amount of respect for him. And in a world, especially this season, it seems like, where buyouts are huge around college football and you see mid-season coaching changes. Coach Lanning's even said, I'm not really sure what the rush is for, but here we are, right? And then you look at Coach Ferentz and it's it can be done, guys. It can be done in that way. And I just have a tremendous amount of respect for that. And the way that Iowa plays, he's done it his way with a consistent coaching staff. That's something that Oregon had enjoyed previously. So I really identify with that. Prior to Coach Taggart and then Coach Cristobal and now Coach Lanning, Oregon had assistant coaches that had been here for a decade, 2 decades, some in 3 decades, dating back to the Rich Brooks years. So there's a little bit for me of kind of a nostalgia connection there of in the modern era of college football with so much motion, both players and coaches around the country. I think there's a tremendous amount of respect for what Coach Ferentz has done. And then also, I will say the tradition with the Children's Hospital is a really powerful thing for me. That's on a personal level, but I know it resonates with Coach Lanning because, as has now been shared nationally, his wife went through cancer. The University of Oregon has done a lot around cancer awareness. I know everyone out there knows who Phil Knight is, right? Well, Phil has actually donated a lot more to campus and campuses cancer research than he has to athletics. Our graduate campus that's all dedicated towards science and cancer, that's still new at the University of Oregon, is named the Knight campus because he funded it. OHSU, which is another program here up in Portland, they're all about cancer research. He gave a bunch of money to that just recently. So my point is that sort of beyond football caliber, I listened to Coach Ferentz's press conference and he spent an entire minute talking about the kid captain. And I just went, okay, see that? Yeah. That's cool, right? Sports are supposed to be something that brings people together. And sure, it can rip people apart too. There's no doubt about that. But are there a lot of house divided Iowa State flags out there? That's the way it is for us with Oregon and Oregon State, sure. Right? House divided or whatever. And anyway, my point is that's on a personal level. I think it's cool to have 2 coaches and 2 programs that really buy into it's bigger than football. But now also on the football front, what I love, I got to tell you, I love a good punter. Who doesn't love a good punter?
You're going to love Iowa.
That's what I'm telling you. But 2 coaching staffs that focus on special teams. And to me, that may end up being the biggest key in this game. Not just do you execute on special teams, but maybe field position, right? 2 elite defenses by every metric. You don't want to have to go 90 yards to score against either of these defenses. I think field position could be a real key.
No, absolutely. Joey McMurry joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I don't know if you've looked at the forecast, but it's getting worse and worse. I'm getting hard times from some of my friends because we usually do the pregame show outside at Krause Family Plaza, and we're going inside, and that's not for my benefit. It's the technology they care more about. It's the machines they care more about than us. You know that, Joey. But
I do.
It's going to rain. It's going to be wet. It's going to be windy. Now they're saying maybe some snow, and I think Iowa fans embrace it, love it, are excited. They think it's a big deal. I think, I was just talking about it before you came on, maybe a slight advantage for Iowa, but it's not like you're all coming up from California or Florida. You've seen rain before, and we just talked about it is a run the football, good offensive line, defense is really good. The forecast mean anything when you hear it coming from Oregon?
Well, as our longtime PA announcer, Don Essig, always says before every single home football game, it never rains in Autzen Stadium. And, it does. And in fact, it usually monsoons here when it does rain during a football game. So
Sure.
I agree with you, though. I think it is slightly advantage to Iowa in that way, just because throwing the football becomes a problem in the wind gusts. And to me, wind is more difficult to handle in the passing game than I don't know. I say that as a former quarterback, but then our sideline reporter, Dusty Hare, is a former receiver, and he's like, no. I don't want a wet ball. I don't care if it's windy. I'll adjust my route. So I don't know. I think that it's just part of football, right? I like the fact that football is an outdoor sport, though I totally understand why all of these postseason games are now played in domed environments. Like, I get it. I don't know that it matters as much as it might, but the key question that I now have for you, if I can turn this around, is I'm packing my suitcase tonight. You got to tell me how heavy of a coat I need. Like, am I bringing the big winter coat?
This sounds
Am I
mean.
bringing like a bomber jacket? Am I bringing a raincoat? What am I bringing?
You need a bomber jacket. You don't need a heavy coat. But, and this sounds mean, I don't mean you are, but it depends. Are you tough? Like, if you're from Florida, like, they're going to come up and they're going to be like, oh, this is freezing. But I think an Oregon guy like yourself, I think just a jacket, you're fine. And the press box is nice and warm. Are you on the sideline too? Or you're on the sidelines, aren't you?
I know I used to be. Okay. So now I'm in the booth during the game. I run the broadcast with Jerry and Georgie, and then Dusty's on the sideline now. This is Dusty's.
Dusty,
this is his third season.
Dusty needs to probably pack a little more than you do, if that makes any sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Right. So but I had to ask the expert. Right. Yeah. I asked Gary Dolphin yesterday, and he was like, I don't know, it's getting worse. So anyway, and I've been at sports and local sports for forever, and it was the weather guy always before me. And I love them all here in the Quad Cities and the ones, but it's Thursday. Talk to me Saturday, and it might change a little bit as well. I want to talk to you about the game real quick before I let you go. What does this thing look like? What is Oregon? Take it from the Oregon side. What is Oregon keys to the game? Let's be fancy. Give me those keys to the game to make Oregon get out of Kinnick Stadium with a victory on Saturday. Well, I think, like I said, with special teams, I really like that it's two teams that value that, because in a game like this, special teams could be the difference. I think field position is a really big deal. Like whichever team has that shorter field to travel, to score, I think that's a big deal. And look, like every game, it comes down to the trenches. If Oregon finds success running the ball, it just opens up so many things. And that's what Oregon did not do very well, particularly late in the game against Indiana. A lot of simulated pressure from Indiana's defense, and Oregon just had not established that run game to hit some of those explosive plays. And Iowa's defense just doesn't give up a lot over the top. I mean, talking to the Iowa folks, right? Like, they just don't. Not just this year, historically, you just don't see the top come off that defense very often. So I think Oregon knows that. I think Oregon's aware of that. And to me, you're going to have to execute on first down to not be in third and long. I think for Oregon's offense, it comes down to that. And then for Oregon's defense, I do think it comes back to stopping the run in the trenches. Oregon's had, by a lot of metrics, the best passing defense in the country. But I think Iowa probably wants to run the football as much as Oregon does. And then I also think just it's an interesting wrinkle every time you have a quarterback that runs an RPO and is mobile. And Fernando Mendoza is the example of that on Oregon's schedule previously. Mark Gronowski can do that, right? I mean, I don't have to tell you all that, but that I think the cage for Oregon is going to be important, just to make sure that there's no big plays that result from that RPO. So that was a lot of keys, but of course, none of those will come true, and it's going to be 45-42.
Right. We don't know anything. It is interesting because Iowa's played two ranked teams at home, Indiana and Penn State, and we were just talking on the show earlier. Both of those games, they threw an interception in the first drive of the game and gave the enemy a short field and a quick touchdown. And then weird stuff right before the half. Indiana had 20-some seconds, went down and got a field goal that usually would never happen on a on a Phil Parker coach defense. And then the Penn State stuff was weird. We tried a 66-yard field goal, got blocked, returned for a touchdown. It was a disaster. Those things, if Iowa does those things and makes those mistakes, it's going to be a long afternoon for Iowa. They got to play clean football, and that's pretty duh. I love when people if you don't turn the football over, well, that's usually the case for most games. Hey, you know what, Joey? If the team that scores the most points, I think is going to win. That's the way I'm going to put it down to. So
I agree. I'm with you.
I appreciate you doing this. You don't do predictions, do you? I don't, because I'm going to just say Iowa because that's what pays the bills.
Exactly. We do a picks segment on our Friday show every week, and we've never picked the Oregon game. It's like, all we're doing is we're going to get ourselves in trouble because someone in the fan base is going to go, what do you mean you picked against Oregon? You know how this goes.
Yeah, no, totally get it. So, hey, I appreciate you. I'll find you. I owe you a beer or something in Iowa City. Travel safe, pack a coat, pack maybe some rain gear a little bit, but come to Iowa City. You're going to have a good time.
The Bomber. This is my first trifecta, actually. I did basketball, baseball, now football. So in our Big Ten schedule changes, this is my first trifecta, so I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. Can't wait to meet you in person. Joey, I appreciate your time. We'll catch up with you again real soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, my friend. That is Joey McMurry joining us right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A ton of fun to get to, one, know him. Seems like a fantastic guy, but also to learn about Oregon. I mean, we focus so much on Iowa and what Iowa has to do to be successful, but to get their perspective of what Iowa football is and what they do. And I think it's a big misunderstanding or misconception that they want to just throw this football around and they have the fancy uniforms and all those kind of things. They're going to want to run the football. They want to play tough physical defense. And I think it's going to be a fantastic game. 2:30 Kinnick Stadium coming up this Saturday afternoon. We will wrap up a fun and busy Thursday on OTA right after this. Don't you dare go away. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday, November 6th. It was a fun show once again. A thank you to Joe McMurry for joining us. He's the director of broadcasting for the Oregon Sports Network. He does the pregame show for the football program. He's the play-by-play guy for the basketball program. He'll be here in Iowa City, getting the perspective of the Ducks as they get ready to come to Kinnick Stadium for that game at 2:30 on Saturday. Also want to thank Jake Brend for joining us. He talked football, basketball, women's basketball for the Cyclones. So if you're an Iowa State fan, go listen to that. If you're an Iowa fan and want to hear Iowa State guy talking about a 4-game losing streak, go listen. It's not that bad. So also high school wise, Rock Island soccer team heading to state for the first time ever. One of their standouts, Jonas Cortez, joined us. Go check that out. Also, Geneseo continues to have a fantastic season. Crazy finish last weekend. We talked with Kye Weinzierl about that, and then also looked ahead to Macomb. So some fun high school segments on today's show as well, which is always a bunch of fun. Coming up tomorrow on the show, we'll catch up with a View from the West guys, preview the week that is in high school football. Also, we have not talked to Ty Taylor yet this week, so we may sneak Ty Taylor in as well. We got to get to some Illinois. So hopefully Ked Prince or a Jim Madsen, because the Illini on a bye week for football, but basketball season's up and rolling. So we have plenty to get to on a Friday on OTA. We'll stay in the studio is my guess. Really no local games to get out to. So we'll stay in the studio, have some fun here, and wrap up what's been a fun week on OTA and get ready for the weekend, which is going to be a bunch of great football. High school wise, college wise, pro wise, an awesome time of year, and then basketball's up and running as well. So I want to thank everyone for listening or watching today's show. We greatly appreciate it. We've got to thank our sponsors who allow us to do this show each and every weekday at 10 a.m. And I want to thank you guys the most for watching. We appreciate that as well. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be back with another edition of OTA tomorrow.